These burgers are really great. To my supplier, they are really nice and tasty. They've changed the recipe, I think, but the problem is that I feel that I want to carry on with my vegan stuff now. These burgers are really great. All these people that don't know where to look for good good supply of food and things. You know, we don't have a meat standard. I've noticed. We have one for fish, MSC. Uh, I buy my fish from Tesco's mainly because it's MSC. Um, yeah, I'll tell you a little story about when I used to be in the auto gas industry. There was a thing called being accredited to the Installers Association, and when I was getting advice, people were advising from around all these associations that I was good at my job, but I could never afford to be accredited. I couldn't afford it. It was too expensive, even though I was good enough to do it. Suppliers that I had around me kept making mistakes, and I ended up in the end sort of saying, well, this is just not how I want to do business. So I ended up being struggling. uh, I didn't like some of the techniques that some of the installing associations were doing on the vehicles, so I gave up carrying on with something that I didn't feel that was right to be fitted. I quit the autogas business because some of the techniques and some of the fuel tank installations weren't to my liking. I had one guy, he brought a Discovery to me, and I took it to some place, and in the end I said, no, I don't like that, so I can't continue. But something bad happened. I can't tell you anymore. But in the end, the guy had his car repaired. I told him I wasn't happy with what happened. It went to a separate company. The other company that interfered with what I was recommending, I couldn't believe it. It was like a fit-up job. So I informed on the right association, and the association settled this problem. They settled the problem. The customer ended up with repairs to his vehicle. I didn't like the way that the association was fitting fuel tanks on LPG vehicles. Some of the people were cutting holes in the floor years and years ago, and that's not acceptable. You can't do that. Other people were drilling holes in the floor and hanging tanks underneath, and they said, you know, the association had put a minimum height restriction clearance with fuel tanks hanging under vehicles. Well, on passenger vehicles, that's not good. So I had my Range Rover. It had the tanks fitted, and it had the holes put in, and the tanks fitted underneath, and it worked as a really good LPG vehicle, and it was within regulation of Code of Practice 11. But this particular guy's Range Rover Discovery, I can't tell you anymore. But I stopped doing a whole lot when I saw what they were doing. And I won't mention the company's name. I won't mention who they were. But I can mention to you that these people were trying to stop environmental work from happening. They sent in a team, and what they did I didn't agree with. And when the customer found out what they had done, the customer thanked me, and I said, I'm ever so sorry, but that's what they've done to your vehicle. I'm leaving them. It went to an association. The association got that, and they got his compensation. But I didn't like the way it was fared. I won't mention the name of the company. But these problems happen when people try to change things without going through the right procedures that's long enough. So my future of fuel tanks and systems are going to be properly adhered to in safety limits and safety standards. And of course, they will be industry safe. I said you can't fit tanks underneath vehicles. You can't fit fuel tanks under vehicles, not a car. And you see, the government said you could. The government messed up. The government ruined everybody's cars because the government thought they knew something. So I stopped it all. They didn't like what I did to save people's lives. I thought they were too dangerous. I told the association I don't agree with these, and he said, well, the thing is, the customer came to you and was told by everybody else it was going through the government standards. So he asked the fuel tanks to be put underneath. Thankfully, I never did anything wrong. I stopped them from doing things wrong to everybody else's cars. Oh well. So the LPGA were quite crafty in bringing in Autogas Association accredited for the Automobile Club by the back door through the government. They used the Installers Association's expertise, which had been going for a very long time, and the standards were we weren't going to put fuel tanks underneath, but the government stepped in, interfered with a load of inexperienced people, changing the rules and regulations. And now we've got a problem with electric vehicles catching fire because the government thinks it can invade in experts' advice. Back then the Labour Party were in charge, and they ruined the motor industry, really. The Labour Party ruined the motor industry. They also nearly set fire to everybody's life with petroleum tanks fitted underneath vehicles, because they ain't got a clue what they're doing. So I got that set straight. The guy got a complete new body shell. He had a new complete body shell. And he threw away the tank installation. He thanked me for saving his life.